When we experience either very severe or very mild winters, it can allow insect populations or disease problems to really become much more prevalent in the garden. And after a mild winter, we find that insects can really be everywhere in the garden, and many times the insects that we normally would see. And one of the insects that we will find in a garden is called a plant bug. This could be a box elder bug, milkweed bug, and let me just show you what they look like here in the garden. If you look at this plant right here, you can see some of the damage to the leaves done by the plant bug. And if you really want to see the plant bugs, you can just go and look, and they're adults and young, and there's just, tons of them in here. And they suck the juices out of plants. Now you can vacuum them and get rid of them that way, or you can go ahead and use a recommended pesticide according to the label to control, and there's a small one, so they're all over in these plants here. Mild winters also allow for a lot more disease problems in a garden. And looking at this, leaf right here on this hosta, we might say, something chewed the foliage. It looks like slugs. But we turn the leaf over, we don't see any signs of trails for slugs. And as we look at some of the other leaves, we notice a little more browning of some of the spots. Then the brown part dies and falls out, and it looks like an insect or something ate the leaves. Really, it was a disease. And one of the best ways to remember this in a garden is to keep a garden calendar. Maybe even take pictures with your digital camera and file them somewhere, and so they notify you next spring on the computer 5 weeks earlier than when you normally see this in a garden to treat for this. The other thing you can do is pull up all the old leaves, rake up all the old leaves, and get rid of that debris, which reinfects your plants year after year after year. One of the problems that we experience in daylilies is thrip. And this is a very small, tiny insect that as soon as the temperature warms up, it becomes much more evident. And this tiny insect sucks the juices out of daylily flowers and buds, but also affects other plants like hostas, and it's even in your lawn. So if you're treating your daylilies, you sometimes need to treat your lawns. It is very hard to see, and you need to really look closely at the flower and pull the petals apart to find a thrip. But the damage that occurs is going to be flowers which don't open correctly, buds that become twisted and contorted, and that is a sign that you might have thrip. Now, if you look very closely, you almost need a magnifying glass, and you can see these little moving, about the size of a pin tip. And your daylily flowers can be filled with 10 or 20 in each flower alone. And they also spread diseases, just like mosquitoes spreading malaria and things of that nature. And I like to get a magnifying glass, so you can get a magnifying glass and go out in the garden and really see this close up. Really, pre-treatment is a great way to control this. Make sure you mark on your calendar that May 1st to start treating for this problem. These are some plants we have not treated, and always follow the label directions. Once you have that gardening calendar, it'll tell you what to do at the right time of the year. I'm Mark Viette. Join me next time in the garden.
For more garden tips, go to inthegardenradio.com.